Hi, fam. It's me, Kirsten, and this is the It's Giving Mystical podcast. And this is your podcast for the week ahead, the week of April 11th. Why is the numerology like popping off every time I'm recording one of these April podcasts? When I say 4-4, ooh, and then when I just said 4-11, I just really felt like the wind of the 11 rushed through my system. So, movement. Oh, it took my breath away. Movement this week, that feels really clear. And recalibration, reordering, that feels really clear. The full moon that is coming up tomorrow night, the Saturday the 12th, I think, is the full moon in Libra. And I'll tell you what I'm feeling about this. I don't know if this relates directly to the astrology. I do know that Venus is stationing direct the same day as the full moon, and at least on my end of the world, thank God. Thank God. Venus retrogrades shake me so much harder than Mercury retrogrades do. I don't know whether I'm more at home with that Mercury energy, or maybe the Venus energy is more foundational. Something happens to me when Venus goes retrograde that I'm always like, please, I'm ready for you to go direct again. I need to breathe. But I will say this full moon is in Libra, the pink moon, and what I really feel is the way it is strobing a reflection of whatever you've encountered during that most recent Libra Aries eclipse season. So that would have been like October 2023 through 2024 into early parts of this year. I think that we just finished off or closed off that eclipse season with our last solar eclipse. There's something really important about this idea of sealing what you learned, sealing what was activated. You might feel echoes of that around this full moon. Maybe you've already been feeling it this past week, but this week ahead, you might feel this kind of, I don't know, like final exam around that Aries Libra energy. So much of what that eclipse season highlighted, and for all of us, it hit different parts of our chart, but it was this tension between I am, mine, what is my light, my flame, my desire, my needs, my clarity, my purpose, and we, the community, how I bring that to relationship, how I bring that to community, how I bring that to the other. And so much of what got highlighted was the ways that we have been out of alignment with that dance, with that negotiation. Aries is very much concerned with its own center, and Libra is very concerned with balance. And the habits we may have had around those things that didn't actually serve our higher good. It might have been, for example, that you really understood or really understand now in new ways your habits around reaching out to the other before you stayed with yourself. So the beauty that came, the learning that came was this invitation to stay as you are, to honor your flame, your light, your center, your clarity, and bring that fullness to the other, bring that fullness to relationship. And through those higher aspects of Aries and Libra, make beauty, make art, make community. So the blessings of that eclipse cycle are very palpable. I have a right to want what I want, to be who I am, to shine my light, and I desire to bring that to community. And when I bring my fullness to community, beautiful things unfold, like it strengthens the entire community. For most of us, for many reasons, that may not be something we've mastered at this point. And so noticing how that was activated beginning in October of 2023 and what story has been unwinding, unfolding up until recently. And this full moon is really highlighting that. It's highlighting the tension and the pain around that. It's highlighting the opportunity around that. So it has this bittersweet quality to it of maybe noticing how you wish you could fall back into old patterns just because they're comfortable, just because they're known, and then your body's actual somatic resistance to falling back into those old patterns. And so you find yourself maybe unsure of how to be in this new place where you feel clear in your own being. And how does that being, how does that version of you show up in community? It's tricky. It's tricky business. I was saying last night in Full Moon Circle, it's like we're finding our sea legs around this. It takes a minute. So we want to be patient with ourselves, compassionate with others, and to slow down. There's a sense of this, of all of this being aspected to the North Node. And so there's a quality around all of this that feels both fated. And I think there's Uranian energy involved. And so it feels both fated and shocking. So some of this is me riffing on the astrology, but it's also me really feeling into the sensations around this. And while there might be somatic physical ache around this full moon, there's also this desire, this yearning for something else, this desire to elevate your experience of the Aries Libra energy. And I invite you to stay with that and trust what is getting shuffled around, trust what is getting reordered. And like I said, when I first pulled this card and started the podcast, that 11 energy wants things to move. 11 is a speedy, speedy numerology. It wants to elevate, it wants to take us to the higher octaves of what we're experiencing. And in this case, it's the higher octaves of the Libra energy, the higher octaves of the Aries energy. And again, the beautiful opportunity of I take what I've learned and I watch it take a new shape in the world. There's something about that that feels very like bow and end the practice around whatever that dynamic is for you. It doesn't mean there won't be grief around it. It doesn't mean it's easy to do, but it does feel complete and like a sense of I can't go back, even if I may want to, even if I'm unsure about how to go forward. Cue hermit year. I do know that this is ending for me. Also, cue Emperor and Death. Whatever is getting reshuffled in terms of your boundary line, it is on purpose. It is fated. It is part of your evolution. It's part of what needs to die away so that you can find a new way, a new skin. And if we weren't feeling that message strongly enough, the tarot offered us the World this week. The World is the final card in the major arcana, number 21. And it really is the most significant marker of completion in the tarot. So death is transformation. It's not necessarily completion. The world is completion. The world is like you've been walking on the spiral on the staircase for many moons now, and you've come to the end. We're going to enter a new plane. Actually, this week in an Akashic Records reading I was doing, I had this image, this beautiful, beautiful. It was such a gift to be part of that reading, but the experience I had was this person stepping onto like a turntable, but like a human-sized one, like something out of Thomas the Train, and then that rotating and setting her off on new tracks. And just a recognition of everything she had done to be able to arrive at that turntable, that feels here with us. That world card energy of don't discount how hard you've worked, what you've endured, what you've experienced, what you've incorporated to get to this place. On top of everything I just said, for the world card to be coming up, it tells me there's some major ending this week. And that's all right. The beauty of the world card is it moves us back into the Fool. So number 22 in tarot doesn't actually exist. It's a blank space. We move right from the world, 21, to 23, which is the King of Wands. And there's the space between. And the space between is the Fool. And so there's really the sense of the threshold. There's the sense of the turntable spinning and setting you off in a new direction, a new path. Again, we bring the hermit into this. This is like the path is uncovering itself as we step forward. Again, we bring in the emperor. There's boundary lines being reformed. What's yours to manage is changing. And the death, that this is pretty profound transformation. The world is expansive energy. The world is meant to celebrate your arrival, celebrate the palette you've used to achieve whatever this next level of evolution is. So the world card in some ways is simple. It just says to us something major is ending. Something major is ending, and can you be at peace with that ending? Can you trust both the shock and the fated quality of that ending? An interesting thing to note about the world card in the traditional deck is that all four of the fixed signs show up. So that's Leo, Scorpio, Taurus, and Aquarius. And there's something important about this sense of what remains. So we come to the end. We stand at the gateway of a new beginning. We haven't quite stepped into it yet, but we're just gathering ourselves and taking note and looking back over the path and being like, hoo-yeah, and just checking in. And with the gratitude and the grief and all of the things that come with endings. And there's something about the fixed sign showing up always, but particularly for us this week, is what remains. And so to notice as you may be tossed around by some of the changing transformation, some of the shifting boundary lines and tides that are with us, some of the endings that occur, if you can stay with what remains, there's something quite poetic and beautiful about the fact that even as things are constantly reaching new thresholds, reaching new evolutions, coming into their next sense of becoming, that there is something that remains. There's an essence that remains. The fixed signs hold that energy for us. They say, no, come what may, I will be here. I will stay here with you. So I encourage you in this week ahead to just notice what is fixed, what stays, even as you cross threshold, what remains. What was with you the last time you cycled through the seasons that brought you to the world card? What was with you as you cycled through the seasons that brought you to October of 2023? Okay, what are the things that cycled through for you since last Libra full moon, since the last Aries season, since the last beginning of an astrological year? It's a beautiful time to take note and to really honor and be grateful for and celebrate the sacred quality of what remains. And you can think of that very granular, you can think of that very broadly, very practically, or very energetically, but the sense of what remains. I remember, I think it was either David Data or John Wineland when I was studying in the Tantra world, this idea that the consciousness, the masculine in you, is the part of you that has been looking back at you in the mirror all this time. So do you notice that as your face changes, your body changes, the world changes, all of the feminine around you changes. There's this constant clarity, this constant consciousness that looks back at you. And that energy, the fixed nature, the thing that stays, has been looking back at you since you noticed yourself in the mirror for the first time. So 5-year-old you, 10-year-old you, 30-year-old you, 80-year-old you will always be gazing back at you in the mirror. That's what stays, so that we can bring that quality of the masculine energy of what remains as I evolve, what remains as I am a constant whirlwind of change, and as the world is, and as life is. So it's a pretty simple message. Something major is going to end this week, come hell or high water. I hope that's a relief to you. I hope that feels good in some way. Know that whatever does end, it is for your highest good. It is for the purpose of evolution and becoming and evolving. Evolution and evolving. Get it? Get it? You know what I mean? There's something about standing at this threshold saying, okay, it's time to move past, it's time to step into the new terrain. And I'm going to remember and notice what remains with me as I cross the threshold. Something really important about that sense. So maybe you want to journal on that or bring that into your dream space. But what remains? It's a beautiful question. And otherwise, just kind of prepare yourself for this full moon. Prepare yourself for the repercussions of this Aries Libra axis finding its fullness, finding its completion, bowing to you and ending the practice. There's something that wanted to get worked out, evolved, clarified, learned, and you did. Now, what you do with that might take a minute to figure out. It might take a minute to figure out, okay, what remains here with me now that I've been through this washing machine of fun that is the Aries Libra eclipse cycle. And now what am I bringing to myself and what am I bringing to my community? What remains now? Cool, interesting, definitely a little bit shocking, definitely moving fast. And so ground yourself and really anchor into the sense of what stays with you, what is with you come hell or high water. Have I already said that? Uh-oh, hell and high water. Why are you with us? Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so much love to you. And may you feel excited about the endings afoot. May you have grace and composure and grounded safety through the changes that come. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.